So the next one is about future casting and unbundling business. So this is also something quite interesting that the IASA BTABoK IBAM has introduced, right? So in order for us to develop a new target architecture, we need to be able to do future casting. So what do you mean by future casting? You know, future, right? Future means tomorrow. You know what's casting? Casting means it's like you cast the net, right? You will basically spread it as wide as possible so that you can capture as many target that as you can, right? So future casting is combining between what you can gather the information about the future. After that, you conclude into the most possible or nearest candidate that you think it will happen, right? That can make the business to happen. Okay. So the way it works typically in the architecture is that we need to collect the signal, right? So how do we collect the signal? Of course, now we can ask the AI to collect the signal. We can do a market research. We can engage the market research. We can collect from the customer, from the partner, from employees. So we collect the signal. After we collect the signal, we got multiple sources, right? So we combine the signal and we study. The customer say this, customer A say this, customer B also say this, customer C also say this, and our partner also say this. Our employee also say this, right? And then we look at the trend, the technology also say this, right? So we can make a conclusion. Okay. Then after that, you use your personal foresight. Personal foresight means based on our experience, right? In the past, what do you think the likelihood this to happen? Okay, then after that, you play with the future, right? You play with the future means you prototype, you pilot, and then you quickly, when you think fail, you quickly recover and redo again, right? So this basically the concept of future casting, right? So when we basically develop the target architecture, we need to know about future casting. And I think there's also a very, very important aspect about unbundling the organization or unbundling the business. So what do you mean by unbundling? So when you talk about the future, you definitely need to transform, right? Imagine that you have the Lego concept, the same 1,000 pieces of Lego, you can turn it into the car, into the truck, into the building, into the house, into the factory, right? Or perhaps into the animal. So what do I need? So basically, you need to know your landscape, right? You need to know what you have, what you don't have, and how things are interconnected. So many organizations today fail to do transformation because they don't have this unbundling capability. They can perhaps do future casting, right? They can come out a strategy. If they don't know, they engage a strategy consultant. They tell you, wow, very pretty, right? The future for our business is very pretty. But by the time it come to us, oh, sorry, you are talking about truck. We have only have a sedan, right? You see this? It's totally is mismatch, right? What you're trying to unbundling, what you paint the pictures, not what we have today, right? So for us to be able to define the target architecture, we need to know the future casting, and after that, we need to unbundle. We need to know all the parts, of our organization, right? Like the car, we need to know the part of the wiring, the cable, the factory, what are the part number, etc. So when we want to change particular part, and we know the impact to the rest of the organization, right? So this is the concept of the similar with what the Archimate being introduced, right? Some of you heard about the Archimate from the open group. There is about element about organization. So we need to know all the parts presented so that we can unbundle, we can replace which one that we need to replace, which one that we need to upgrade, which one that we need to decommission, right? And perhaps you think, oh, this car totally can't be used. Why? After we do future casting, we need to upgrade the entire car, right? Perhaps after you understand the architecture, right? So this is basically a very powerful concept, right? In the IASA BTABoK using IBAM about future casting and unbundling your business. So of course, when you apply IBAM in the solution architecture, right? First, of course, we imagine digital customer. So basically, we need to select the particular project that can help our digital customer to be happy. Okay, why we need them to be happy? Because if they're not happy, they're not consuming our product and services, right? So we need to make sure that happen. Then after that, we need to look at our business, right? So we need to create the architecture. So we need to define the target architecture. Can use the same concept earlier about the future casting and unbundling the business. So we create the target architecture. Then after that, we go into the solution, right? Deliver the solution. So we go into the project, we look at the timeline, we do look at the resources, we look at the technology that we're going to adopt. Okay. And of course, after that, we go into the manage and operation, right? So basically, how can this project become sustainable? How can this deliver value, right? After that, of course, when they got some changes, the circle back again. So this is the life cycle of the IBM, right? Just now using the structured canvas approach is actually the same. Like this is just another perspective, okay? In the most simplistic way, using the IBM, right? Imagine digital customer, become digital business, achieve digital employee, and maximize digital operation. Yeah. Okay, so now outcome model of the BTABoK. Let me now highlight about the BTABoK. Of course, I think they got a set of the objective key results, right? Of the how do we describe and measure digital advantages. Okay, of course, always focus on the customer, right? Always focus on the customer, and of course, focus on the business, right? And the business basically we need to be able to unbundling and transform the business, and of course employee, how to make them more productive, more collaboration, right? Especially today with the help of AI and etc. So how can this employee can be reskill, upskill, and redeploy, right? And of course maximize the operation in terms of the maturity, more integrated and more seamless, right? So this basically the outcome model of the BTABoK. The next one is on the operating model, right? So we're talking about these layers, right? Operating model. Okay, so what architect do? Of course, we do capture the requirement, right? They call it architectural significant requirement. Not all requirement that we need to capture. Some of the requirement does not bring architecture impact, right? So let's leave it to the business analyst or system analyst to capture the requirement at the later on inside the project. But what we are discussing here is about architecturally significant requirement, right? So requirement that impact our architecture. Then, of course, when we do a decision, we need to record that decision, right? So typically, architect need to have a architectural decision record, and we need to do some experimentation. We need to also develop the architecture roadmap, and we need to enforce the governance, and also we need to capture all the stakeholders and make sure that we classify and we know exactly which stakeholders have a particular driver or concerns. Okay, and of course, we need to set up our digital model, digital EA repository, the platform, right? And of course, all this link with the architecture canvases, right? So all what we do here in the ISA at this layer, all are actually architecture canvases, right? So you can go to the website and you can click the link on all canvases. Yeah. So of course, the way that just now in the model of the architecture roadmap path on the learning. So all the canvases have been so-called, some of the canvases, interestingly, used in the architecture core and the architecture core and the solution architecture at the different depth, right? So at the solution architecture is deeper, right? But actually it's the same canvas. So when you do first in the enterprise architecture core, the same canvas is just covering the high level, but you go into the solution, it's going to be deeper. Because why? Going to be implemented. So the canvas itself can span across depth and breadth. Yeah. Then in terms of the value model, so how to provide and measure the value. So we look at the OKR, right? Technical AI or EA depths, right? I think now is something that architects also need to look at. And in fact, we would encourage that every team should have a reporting structure on their architecture depth, technical depth, and also AI depth, right? So that we make sure that we get the healthy depth ratio. Yeah. Of course, investment planning, scope and context, value stream, value method, principle, and all these are linked with architecture canvases. So this is happening at the value model level. Okay. The next one is on the people model, right? So how to deliver architecture and how to get large group of architects delivering architecture effectively, right? Imagine you are not the only architects, perhaps you got 20, 30 architects working together. And how do you distribute the job, right? Which architect team are delivering which solution? Okay, so we need to talk about roles, job description, so that make sure no overlapping, and then extend the team. Perhaps you need to get the subject matter expert to come in, and of course you need to understand organization and the political landscape, right? The community involvement, all this link with the architecture canvases, right? So all the people model itself all have the architecture canvases to connect them together. Okay, and the inner layers, they call it architecture practice layer. Okay, so this is basically how to deliver digital advantage, right, by the architect itself. So a method for structuring a group of architects, right? So a group of architects here can be, if you can zoom in here, right, There will be the business architect, solution architect, infrastructure, software, and information, right? How the group of architects to optimize the ability to deliver digital advantage, right? So in the TOGAF context, it is called partitioning, architecture partitioning. So you need to put the section on this particular domain. These are delivered by this group of architects, right? So that they don't overlap, and of course they don't work in silo. Eventually, all things will be connected. Okay, so this is basically the focus on the architecture practice layer. Of course, you need to look at the lead or chief architects, and then business information software, infra solution architecture, and of course, all it is also using canvases, right, to connect them together. Okay, so the strategic value of solution architecture. Okay, first, I think from the business and the CEO perspective, technology changes very rapidly today, right? Everybody need technology, especially today in the AI world. I think the technology change maybe every day, right? Not weekly, I think every day, almost every day. Scary, the amount, the speed of change, right? Last time, technology change maybe every 6 months or 3 months, 1 month. Now it's every day, right? So we need to understand this, right? So if you don't have the architecture, changes is always become an issue. But if we have the architecture, changes is under control. Okay? And of course, good solution architecture can benefit from speed to implement, right? New business processes in the agile way, and also can help move from gut feel to true data-driven business. Okay? And of course, poor or missing solution architecture can mean mixed market, product, services, and experience with like competitors, right? So, of course, if you don't have solution architecture, you can feel it, right? Everything move very slow. In fact, today many organizations are experiencing this issue, right? But they still don't know that actually they don't have architecture. Okay, perhaps they don't know who's going to do this in my team, right? Nobody have the architect role. That's why the key importance of having an architecture team. I think is now it's not luxury, but I think it's necessity. Yeah, especially in today, in the fast speed of the technology evolution and transformation at the exponential rate. Of course, from CEO and CIO perspective, right? IT can move from a cost center to a business driver or profit center. So every technology investment actually deliver value. And how you do that? You need to have architect to study. But if you ask project team just spend the money. That's it. Okay, and hopefully after the project success can bring the money in. But in the matter of most of the situation, this is not happening. And of course, solution architecture strategy is key to getting efficient use of capital and reducing human resource issue, right? So that's why you need to have solution architecture strategy so that we avoid human conflict and of course wasted of the capital investment. And of course, professional IT strategy have wide variability, and professional solution architecture build the organization for sustainability. Okay, so that's basically in a nutshell about the summary about what you can experience throughout the 5 days of the solution architecture training. And of course, there are, as I mentioned, there are many workshops actually inside the 5 days training, right? I would think maybe 70% workshop, 30% content, right? It's quite intensive. You'll be using a lot of canvases, architecture canvases to deliver your architecture, right? So this basically a sneak preview. And of course, I would recommend before you take solution architecture, you need to complete the enterprise architecture core, which is the 5 days training that consists of 2 days business architecture and 3 days solution architecture. So this is the expansion of the 3 days solution architecture inside the enterprise architecture core to go deeper into delivering a solution. Okay, so with that, let me just wrap up with the video, right? Then after that, I will do a Q&A, question and answer. So please feel free to type in any question that you might have or anything that you think like, hey, I want to comment, etc. Please do so. Okay, so after this video ended, I will take your question.
Hi, welcome to ATD's Digital Enterprise Architecture Upskilling and Reskilling programs. As you know, enterprise architecture is a strategic discipline that requires the involvement of key stakeholders from various facets of an organization to ensure its success. This includes stakeholders such as CXOs, who define the business and technology strategy, as well as people from IT and business departments who are involved in requirements and IT solution delivery. Among these, there are a group of architects who play a crucial part in shaping the overall architecture. There are 5 main architect roles. The business architect creates and refines business architecture and owns business technology strategies. He is a digital strategist who knows technology and business. The information architect creates and refines information architectures and owns the data dictionary or taxonomy governance. She is an information strategist and designs the information structures to support the business. The infrastructure architect creates and refines infrastructure architectures and owns the server topology, network infrastructure, and data center environment to ensure business continuity plan. He is a technology strategist and designs the technology landscape to support the business. The software architect creates and refines software architectures and owns the application components and connectivity. She is an application strategist and designs the application patterns to support the business. The solution architect creates and refines solution architectures and owns the system implementation governance. She is an IT strategist and designs the architecture solution for the system development and implementation to support the business. Now, these architects possess 4 areas of competencies: framework, tools, skill set, notation. Let's illustrate the 4 areas of competency in the context of cooking. In enterprise architecture, frameworks give guidelines on how to set up an enterprise architecture office. The TOGAF and Zachman Enterprise Architecture Framework are some examples. Like the cooking equipment and utensils, in enterprise architecture, we also use tools to facilitate the modeling of organization and develop the digital enterprise architecture blueprint. With tools, all artifacts and components of enterprise architecture can be connected, and it provides a connected view for organization. The example of common tools in the market are BizDesign, BOC, Adoit, and Adonis, and Orbus Infinity. While the recipe gives you step-by-step instructions, it also assumes that you know how to cook. With the same recipe, different people might produce different results. Those who are more culinary experienced will have better results. Similarly, in enterprise architecture, an architect needs to have the relevant skill to carry out the jobs. The IASA Business Technology Architecture Body of Knowledge, in short BTABoK, has the most comprehensive skills defined for all domain of architects. The notation is the universal measurement for cooking. Any recipe will use universal measurements. For example, liquid will be measured in ml or salt in teaspoon. For enterprise architecture, the open standard for notation is called the Archimate, which is an open language under the Open Group. With all the skills in mind, the upskilling and reskilling program will help you to build your career with enterprise architecture. If you would like to start embarking on the enterprise architecture journey as an aspiring architect, you may want to start with the fundamental skills in business IT alignment using the enterprise architecture concept. The Business Technology Requirement Architecture, or BTRA, in short, is a course that demonstrates the key benefits and strategic values of integrating IT architecture into a business by blending best practices in business requirement architecture. The architecture competency strives to develop the competencies based on the 5 foundational pillars of IASA BTABoK to distinguish key architecture concepts and apply industry frameworks to define the business IT capabilities. The outcome is that you will understand how to align IT solutions with the organization's business goals. If you need to practice any architecture domains and would like to advance to the next level of specialization as a practitioner architect, you may want to look into the Enterprise Architecture Core and one of the 5 EA specializations, such as Business, Information, Infrastructure, Software, and Solution Architecture. In addition, Business Technology Strategy is a course that aligns communication across business units and implement effective technology strategies, which is a critical skill for all practitioner architects. To set up an enterprise architecture office, you need an EA framework. One of the most widely adopted EA framework is the Open Group TOGAF. This course allows you to learn to streamline EA design across domains with a unified framework. Last but not least, the Archimate EA Foundation and Practitioner helps you understand the principles and concepts of EA notation. The learning outcome as a practitioner architect is that you will be able to develop the architecture blueprint by mastering EA framework, tool, skill set, and notation. If you are leading a transformation team and running the enterprise architecture office, there are 2 certifications that you can be awarded with. The IASA CITA Professional Certification is conducted through an online or in-person experience-based interview by peers, assessing candidates' architecture and industry expertise. It provides credibility and assurance to employers that CITA professionals are able to practice as successful architects on the largest projects or programs. CITA Distinguished Certification is bestowed upon top business and technology architects, validated by a community of practicing architects through a professional association, by passing a board of 4 reviewers and a moderator. Finally, there is the TOGAF Enterprise Architecture Leader course. This course ensures that the architects possess knowledge and understanding of how to establish an enterprise architecture capability based on established best practices. The learning outcome is that you will be able to lead the EA team and develop digital strategies to achieve organizational goals. So, whether you're an aspiring architect, a practitioner architect, or an architect leader, there's a seat at the architect's table for you. Embrace the journey, elevate your skills, and become the maestro of enterprise architecture. If you would like to find out more, visit www.atdsolution.com. We will be more than happy to be your partner in your enterprise architecture journey. See you soon.
Right, I hand over. Any question? I think I.
Hi, Aaron. Yeah, there's 4 questions in the Q&A box.
Hang on. Q&A. I only have chat, not chat, right?
No, it's in the Q&A box. Are you able to access?
No. Oh yeah, I have. Sorry. Q&A.
Okay.
Okay. I already took BTS. Can I go straight to solution architecture? Okay. The BTS, okay, the BTS, I understand the BTS. I have delivered many courses on the BTS, but BTS don't use Canvas. Okay. So, solution architecture actually, it's quite advanced compared to the they call it enterprise architecture core. Okay, so enterprise architecture core basically is where you can start slowly to define the canvas. So basically they got, when you are in the learning path, learning journey for the first timer, you cannot go straight into the advanced level. So when you go to advanced level, it will be quite challenging. Right? It's not that I don't allow you. Actually, ISA said can give exception if you think like you're confident, but I don't want to get the complaint at the end of the training. They said, hey, we're quite struggling. They said, I don't really, the first 5 days and the first 2 days, I stay confused. We don't want to get that feedback, right? So we would rather tell you, you go through the enterprise architecture core because the BTS is based on the BTABoK 2.0, right? Now it's BTABoK 3.0. So 3.0 basically is quite a big upgrade, right? Whereby they're using a lot of canvas. So you need to know a lot on the understanding the how to use the canvas from the very, very basic until you get used to it. So when you go to solution architecture, you can productive and involved in the workshop that is much deeper knowledge than the enterprise architecture core. So that would be, I think, my official answer on this question. On the question that whether I already took BTS, I already passed the BTS, can I go into solution architecture? Well, a bit tricky. Okay, a bit tricky because I can imagine that if I'm a student and I going through that, and then if my trainer tell me aloud, but after that I cannot catch up, and then after that I will be angry with my trainer. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Why can't So now I'm just telling you as it is, right? But if you insisted, you can come talk to me. As long as you don't make any complaint, I will let you in. Okay? But I would not recommend. Okay. So same thing, I completed the older version. Do I need to take the latest version too? Yes, it is, because totally a different concept. As I mentioned, now using architecture canvas. So architecture canvas actually is it's not the upcoming, it's the in thing today. Because now I think all the two vendors also implementing BTABoK canvas in their platform. Okay, so you will see more and more canvases everywhere when you talk about architecture. Okay. So can we have the slide? Yes, the slide will be distributed, I think, for those who have submitted the feedback form, etc. And we also have the YouTube video publication, maybe in the next coming weeks, right? From this webinar. The next one, there seem to be lots of canvas and quite theoretical. And any example? Oh, no. I would disagree on the theoretical. Okay, theoretical is my presentation now 1 hour. When you do the workshop, 70% you'll be hands-on. Okay, no, not too many theoretical. Even the information are very, very practical. You zoom in straight away into doing the case study. Okay, so if you have attended the earlier BTABoK 2.0, same thing, right? So me or my colleague as a trainer, we enjoy teaching this because why? We don't have much thing to do. We just you be very very busy, right? The 4 days, 5 days will be super tiring for you to do practical hands-on in the class, right? But let me tell you, it's very rewarding. Okay, so the thing theoretical, not really. It's highly super practical. Okay, you will see it. You will see this when you attend the class. Okay, this one is from Claudius. Architectural transformation is a great concept, but still relatively new to several people, even in IT department itself. Yes, it is, of course. Since different teams have their own ways of driving changes, how can an architectural transformation approach help align everyone? How introduce this idea to an organization that just starting the transformation journey? Where to start? Okay. Uh, okay. The first of all, they need to know that the architecture is not a project, right? Some of the organization think, oh, I have done the architecture, just for the sake of the passing through the approval, they use the word transformation inside the project. But actually what they do is not much different than the IT project 10 years ago. What's the difference, right? Whereby when we talk about transformation is that you need to know current baseline and you need to transform to the target architecture and you know exactly which one to dismantle, which one to unbundle, and which one to rebundle. You see just now the concept on the ISA BTABoK, right? About the unbundling your business, you need to do future casting. Future casting means I need to know where am I going. So I believe your team have the transformation. They know where they're heading, right? So make sure that the where they're heading is correct. And we need to, of course, validate, right? In their strategy, in their approach, in their stakeholder, etc. So ISA come out a lot of canvas to do this, right? Of course, you can do if your team are already trained in TOGAF and Archimate and BTABoK, of course, we can do the non-canvas approach, right? But the reason that why ISA introducing canvas, because we want to convey, we want to send a message of architecture to the non-architects. And most people involved in transformation, they are not architects. They're basically senior management, right, in charge on the particular task or area, and they are basically assigned the role to drive the transformation, right? So transformation include transforming the business, transforming the people, and transforming the technology, right? So these three component we call it capability. So we need to know what are the capability you want to develop, and of course, talking about capability, there's a capability canvas, right? So we need to model that, and we need to understand the impact to the people, to the business, to the technology, and how now, of course, the reality is that can we unbundle and rebundle our business? And you want to unbundle, you need to know the component, right? So if you think like, oh, I want to transform this customer service, but I don't even know the component, I don't even know all the system, how the thing work, then how can we unbundle? How can we transform? Right? Instead of you just upgrade your CRM to the next level, we call it transformation. But actually, it's another IT project. Okay. So yeah, if you want to comment again, please feel free. That's what I think my short answer to this question. Where to start? Of course, we can talk after this session. I think you got my email and etc. Okay. And of course, we do have a team in Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, and also Australia. Okay, they can do face-to-face discussion.